Now that you've finished with that grapefruit wedge, you can close that photo as well by clicking on the little X. And no, you don't have to save that. And now we're going to go on to the mushroom. And there's my mushroom photo. And this one is actually going to be quite easy to select. You notice how we have the checkerboard background. And that checkerboard background simply means that there is no background. It's transparent. So we are going to use the magic wand, and we are going to come up here in our options, and we are going to uncheck contiguous. And if you may remember from the last assignment, contiguous means next to. So by unchecking it, when we click in one area, it should automatically select all of the transparent areas around it, and it did. So I'm now going to go up here to the select menu, and I'm going to choose select inverse, so that instead of having the background selected, I have the mushroom selected. Now I'm going to do my copy, and I'm going to come over to my Mr. Melonhead, and I'm going to paste. I'm going to move it up here, and I am going to resize it some. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller overall so that you can see a little bit of the stem. And then this time, because I held shift the first time to keep it in proportion, but now I'm actually going to size it out of proportion a little bit because I want the mushroom to look kind of like a hat. And then I'm going to double click to apply it. I'm going to rename that layer mushroom, and I'm going to drag the melon head above it. And I think that looks okay. All right, I can go close my mushroom photo, and then I can move on. The next one I want is my carrot slice. Now if I zoom in a little bit on this carrot slice, I want you to notice that it is sitting in some sort of gravel or dirt. And it is going to be difficult for us to select everything neatly. So we're going to have to make sure that we are very careful with it. So I'm going to start off by using the quick selection tool. And the quick selection tool is docked here with the magic wand. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to make it a new selection. And basically what I want to do is I want to use it to select the carrot. And you can see it starts in little areas, and it basically tries to select all the similar things in that area. Most of the time it does a pretty good job. However, you can see that it moved out a little bit here, and then of course down here there is a little bit of gravel. So we are going to have to use our quick mask mode in order to edit. I want to subtract this from the selection. I don't want gravel. So I'm choosing background as my, black as my foreground color, and I am coloring, really close to the edge of the carrot. And it's okay if I cut off a little bit of the carrot because I really don't want a whole lot of gravel on there. Okay? And it is easier when you zoom in. So you might even need to zoom in really big and get the edges there, okay? And then you can just rotate around. It's okay if there's just a little bit there, or I can cut that off. Let's see if I can cut that off better. There we go. And then I can zoom over, and I think almost done. All right, I think that looks good. So I'm going to zoom out and check it. I only got that one little piece up there, and I'm going to leave that be. So I'm going to exit my quick mask mode, and I'm going to use what I have here. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to paste it. And I want you to notice that nothing showed up, and that's only because it did show up. Look at the layer. It's underneath the melon, so you can't see it. So after I move that layer up, I can move it up a little bit more. That's probably a little too much. I'm also going to transform it, and I'm holding down my Shift key so that I have it in proportion. And your eyes really kind of line up with the top of your ears there. So right about there. And we can always adjust it later. I'm going to duplicate that layer because, of course, we have two eyes. Mr. Melonhead should too. I'm using the arrows on my keyboard to move it over so it stays horizontally in the same position. And then I'm going to flip this one around. I'm going to do Edit, Transform, and actually instead of flip, I'm going to do Rotate, just to make it a little bit different. There, so the highlight of the carrot slice is kind of in a different spot, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and merge these layers like I did with the grapefruit so that they stay together. So I'm going to Control click and choose Merge Layers, and then I'm going to name them carrots. Okay? Now, the carrot slice is done, so I can close it without saving, and then I'm going to go to my blueberry. Now, there's 3 blueberries on here. We're going to use one of them to be the pupil of the eye, and this one right here is the one we're going to use. It looks like it is oops, I zoomed in on the wrong one. The best option for that. I'm going to zoom in on that one a little bit. And I am going to also use the quick selection tool on this one because it's probably the best option for it. And I'm going to start up and I'm going to just go around and try to select only the blueberry. And I, of course, will have to click a few more places to make sure that I get all of it. And have a little bit there. And of course, you might need to go into your quick mask mode. And that's a little jagged down there, so I am going to smooth that out with the brush. Okay. And you don't have to do it all in one motion. You can take little brush strokes to get the job done. Okay, and when you have it, exit, check it, copy, and then go over here and paste it. All right, now the blueberry's too big to be the pupil, so I'm going to hold down my Shift key while I edit transform. And I'm going to put it in the center of that carrot slice, and that's perfect. And notice how that the little edge there is pointing up that way. Well, when I duplicate it, I want to move that over, and then I want to give Mr. Melonhead, actually I want him doing that because that makes it look like he's looking a certain direction. Okay, so I'm not going to rotate it. I've got it in the center. I've got them like I like them. So I'm going to select both of those. I'm going to Control click, and I'm going to merge layers. Then I'll name it blueberries. And remember that what the merging layers does is it allows me to keep those 2 items together so that I don't mess up and accidentally move one and not the other. Okay, so I can close blueberries now without saving. And all right, so the next one we're going to do is going to be the pear tomato. And the pear tomato is going to be the nose. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And this one here in the middle with the kind of glow at the bulb of the nose is the one we're going to use. And this one, I'm going to use the magnetic lasso tool. I'm going to keep the feather at 3 pixels. And I am going to go around the edge. We'll definitely have to refine this one a little bit with the quick mask mode because as it gets next to the other tomatoes that are of similar color, it has a hard time following the edge perfectly. The rest of the way around, it should be pretty good. We also, up here at the top where the stem is, probably want to smooth that out. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the quick mask mode. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I know that up here is where I want to edit. So I'm going to start with the black color so that I can smooth this out and round the edge. There we go. So you don't see that jagged edge from the stem. And as I come over here, there's just a little bit that I would like to get rid of. Oops, and then of course I colored too much, so now I'm going to switch to the white. There we go. And right along here. All right. And I think that looks okay. So I'll exit quick mask mode, and I will copy, Command C, and I'm coming over to Mr. Melonhead and Command V. I want to transform it a little bit. This one I need to rotate. Oops, I didn't mean to resize it. Rotate just a little bit and bring it down. And I kind of like, you just have to drag it down a little bit, resize it just a little bit. And that's where it is. So we'll call this, it's called a pear tomato. You can just say tomato. And close that file. And then we're going to go to the mouth, which is going to be the kiwi slice. All right, so this one we're going to use the magic wand to start with. And you need to set or check this contiguous box again and set our tolerance at 150. What the tolerance does is the higher the tolerance, the more of this color you select, it selects. The lower the color, the less it selects. So I'm going to click down here and notice that it selects pretty much all the white, and it selects a little bit of that, which is fine because it's actually this slice that we need. Okay, so now I am going to use my select menu to select the inverse, and now it's got just the fruits, and I'm going to use the magnetic lasso tool to subtract from the selection, and I am going to make it go along this edge. And it's okay if it gets a little bit of the fuzz, but we want to keep most of it out. Okay, and then I'll come around here and I'm going to rotate. Oops, my mouse is not cooperating. Okay, and this is why we have the quick mask mode, so we can fix it. And I need to get rid of this, and the easiest way might be actually one of the marquees. I can subtract from the selection there. And now I'm ready for quick mask mode. So I'm going to enter my quick mask mode, and I'm going to use right down here, I'm going to switch to black, and I'm going to get rid of some of this background from underneath. And remember that you can do it in small brush strokes. Makes it a little bit easier. And check around and make sure you like your selection. And exit the quick mask mode. Oops, I see one place that I need to get. There we go. And now I'll exit. And now I'm ready to copy and paste. And now you can resize, holding down the Shift key, and position it at the bottom. Double click to apply it and to rename it.